Hey guys, and welcome back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Tiffany with Hot Mess Planning. So something that I wanted to do after making my last video of my morning Bible study was to kind of go into a little bit of a deeper explanation of this Bible specifically. I wanted to make sure that I was explaining how I use this Bible completely. So I had mentioned in this one this is the one that I write in still. I've had this Bible for, I guess, maybe 5 years, probably. And so this Bible has had a lot of love. This is the Bible that I really started my faith in, started my walk with God. So this Bible has a lot of meaning to me. And I think that's one reason why I haven't been able to let it go. I've never read a Bible so much other than this one. So this is just really my loved Bible. I mentioned that this is the one that I write in, like I underline or highlight everything I read. I much prefer to underline what I read in here. I'm not much big on highlighting it. I feel like that kind of takes away from what I'm reading for me. So I will underline it. And there are some sections in here that are highlighted, though, obviously, just because you go through different seasons of your life. And I was in a season at one point where I used a highlighter in here, and then I realized I didn't like it. So that's just kind of where I am. I did mention that I really prefer to use pink or purple pens in here. I had a specific pink pen that I used in here for years, and it finally went out. I swear that pen lasted longer than a lot. But I have used other colors, and I've just kind of gone back and forth because I can't seem to find another pen like the one that I used originally. So, let's see. So as you can see here, this is kind of an example of how I underline it. I tend to read the NIV version, and I don't hit the Message version unless I just really need to. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to find a section where I went in. Let's look. I know there's been a couple sections where I've really had to go. Like right here, you'll see I used blue ink, but on verse 1, I wanted to just kind of understand it a little better. Sometimes the way they word it, or sometimes the words that they use are a little bit still not a modern term or one that I've heard before. And that's when I'll go over here to the Message section, and I tend to underline the Message section that I've read so that I know that that's a section that I needed to look into a little bit more, or I needed to understand better. Or sometimes I just really want to dip into that section. Also on this side here, you'll notice like little bar. I do that a lot in here as well. And those are typically scriptures that I feel I really, really need in that moment. Or it's a scripture that has come up a lot. So sometimes I will be reading through something and that scripture will keep popping up and keep popping up and keep popping up. So I will go ahead and mark it so that I know when I'm reading through, like that was a scripture that really meant something to me at that time. I don't do a lot of drawing or marking or anything like that. I just really never have. Something else that I do is I've got a couple little flags in here to mark different sections. This just kind of marks areas in the Bible that I felt at the time. This is from a couple years ago that I really, 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 really wanted to focus on. So, of course, with this one, it's Proverbs 31, you know, the wife of noble character. And as you can see, I not only did the NIV version, but the Message version, and I marked it because this is something that I really wanted to be able to focus on. This is something that I reference a lot in my Bible. Anytime I have a question on kind of what God calls me to be as a spouse to my husband, this is where I come. Of course, there's several other sections in the Bible that I also reference, but this is kind of one of my primary ones. This is where I get a lot of my information. And then on this section, I've got multiple different color inks here. I'm not sure what's going on. I felt like this was kind of a section where I've read the verses like at different times, so it just kind of looks like craziness. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. This is the 30 sayings of the wise. So this just had a lot of different information in it that I felt was important. This over here just has a lot of sections in it that I feel is really good to reference, and it's just talking about discipline, that just kind of the different disciplines that we should have. And then the 30 sayings of the wise, it talks a lot about wisdom and stuff like that. It talks about just being disciplined in your life, not necessarily like disciplining your children 100%, but like just being disciplined in who you are and having that discipline, like the positives of having that discipline. My previous Bible had a lot of these tabs. Usually they were on the sides or the top, and I just had a lot of markings with them. So when I got this Bible, my goal was to keep as little of these as possible, and I think those are the only 2 that I have in here now. A section of this Bible that I really like is this back section. So if you're wanting to look up a specific word, so let's say I don't see anything on here that speaks out. So if you're wanting to look up like a wife or a wedding, like you can look up in this back, like wedding right here, and you can look at Matthew 22:11 or Revelations 19:7, and those are 2 areas in the Bible that reference weddings. I use this a lot. Sometimes I feel like I need to study something specific, or I'm given a word that I really need to look up. A lot of times, like if you're wanting to look up like the characteristics of God, like you can look them up here. I use this section a lot. I don't tend to mark in it very much. I have wives and weddings marked in it. And then this back section is where I use to test new pens. Like I said, I ran out of my favorite pen for this Bible about a year ago. So this is just where I test them out to see if they're going to show through or not, or how bad they're going to show through, because most pens show through anyways. I just want to see how much they show through. So that is just kind of what I'm doing with this. Like I said, with my other Bible, I really only use that to study it and dig a little deeper, and use it for the study tools that it has in it. Eventually I'll get to the point where I mark in it a little more probably, but for right now, this is the one that I use the most to mark in. This is the one that is very, very loved and very worn. One of my favorite things about this Bible is that the cover is not worn. Like, I've had this thing for 5 years and it still looks brand new. I know a lot of people don't like pink, so they do have other colors. I believe they have like brown or black or something like that. But this thing has stood the time of test, or test of time. And so if you're looking for something that just kind of is able to have different versions in it, or just has that little bit of more information, I know a lot of times when we're reading the Bible, if we don't understand it, we get a little lost or we give up. So this is really what has helped me not get to that point. So I really hope this has helped you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. I absolutely love when you guys interact. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I really hope that you guys have a blessed week. Bye.